Steady stuff to do.
Uh-huh. I actually did not go out of the house this weekend. After my challenge with my reaction from my COVID shot, I was like, I slept most of the day or laid around.
Stuff to do.
Uh-huh. Oh, wait a minute. I actually did not go out of the house. Okay.
Right?
Yeah. So I kind of laid around on Saturday, just kind of trying to get myself back together, my strength back together. And then Sunday I stayed in all day too. So um, yeah, I had a relaxing weekend. Trying to catch up on being, all of that stuff. The other thing is I got some kind of allergic reaction going on that I get every now and then, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what I have the reaction to. So I'm going to strip
Have it
my
the same
bed down.
time. Oh, I was gonna say you have it the same time every year, or it's just like random.
It's usually around the change of seasons, and I know I have allergies, but I put a new quilt on my bed that I didn't like wash because I figured it wasn't going to touch me. And
Right.
so I don't know what it is, but I could feel my skin peeling. So I got to get that together. Okay. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Are people on already? Yes. Hi. Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning.
So y'all heard that I'm having, so if you seeing changes going on in my face, is because of whatever allergic reaction that is that I'm having. And it'll work its way out. Before they put me on something like a K-Pack or something, which was really it was really interesting how that antibiotics kind of, you know, kind of set everything.
Flush.
Yeah. But I hate taking antibiotics or whatever that is, if it's a steroid or antibiotics, because it, well, on one hand it straightens out some stuff, on the other hand it,
Drips away.
yes,
All the good stuff is gone.
yes. And so I started eating more yogurt. I've been trying to put in some of that some healthy stuff into bacteria into my
Bacteria.
body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what this is, but it's like it causes peeling, and my eyelids will peel. Last time, no, not the last time, but the time before last, my sister came over here and got me, and she was like, "I'm taking you to the doctor," because my whole body was just, I had peeling and sores everywhere. I'm taking you to the doctor. Okay, I surrender. And so, but the last time I think whatever it was, I caught it. And
Like you caught it from
I'm
some place.
no, I don't know where I get it from. I don't know what causes it, which is part of the problem. And so I switched up my detergent um and started using the fragrance free, all of that
Yeah.
stuff, detergent, because it could be in the detergent I was using. I know Gain, well, I love the smell. That
I
stuff will
know.
be
Yeah, I can't use it. I can't use perfume stuff, period. Well, maybe I can now, but my whole life, even when I just coming onto the planet, that was my narrative according to my parents. And then my kids had the same narrative. So I've always been with, you know, no fragrances, um, Tide, Gentle. We use a lot of Dreft, which is not cheap, but Dreft
mhm.
is the detergent for our household pretty much. And then Tide maybe for towels if it's crazy. Like I have to do towels, like, really soak them or whatever. But yeah, so I don't know. But yeah, we have to be mindful. Most, yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So
a thing. It's a thing.
yeah. So I'll keep I guess I'll be troubleshooting over the next few days trying to get my skin back in order. Because right now, I don't know if you could tell it online, but it's right now it's like hit.
No, can't tell it. Actually, you got two faces right now. You got like a Mary Kay.
Okay,
You
from the
never been
sun
to a
coming.
Mary Kay party? You got the one side that's masked and the other
Yeah.
side that's
Yeah. Oh, and that's cruel because I've had that done to me at a store. Somebody make up half of your face. And then you're like, well, what am I going to do? Walk around the store looking like a half? Yeah. So
uh,
I get it. I get it. I get it. So
but I
greetings,
appreciate the
everybody.
sun on your face. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
appreciate
I would, what I'm thinking about, I'm going to put something up on that window to kind of, because sometimes it can be a little harsh. And I don't know what it'll be like when, well, you know what, come to think of it. So in the fall and winter the sun falls back this way, and so when it's summertime it'll probably, maybe it'll go a little bit beyond where it is right now, but I still need to figure out something so I can block some of it, just filter it maybe.
just filter it because I'm in the both and right now. I'm giving you definitely a double message because I appreciate the sun. I
Okay.
appreciate watching.
I love it. I love it, but yeah, it's kind of yeah. I'm sitting back from my desk though. I got to
Oh,
sit
okay.
a little ways
Okay.
from my desk in order for it to be out of it. So if I slide up to
Mhm.
where I should be,
Yeah.
you'll see my face. So yeah. Anyway, so let's pray us in. Do you want to do it, or you want me to do
You
it,
go
or?
for it. I'm good.
I'm always doing the same prayer because I am so like
Because it is
thankful
the
that everybody
same.
is here. Yes. So as we just recognize God and as the only power and presence there is in all, through all, as all, right here where we are right now, knowing that we are one and connected in this space in this time, we just open up and God, just speak through us, speak to us. And we know that the words spoken here are filled with your light, love, and wisdom of the highest. Thank you for this space. We bless it, and so it is. And we bless you too, Miss Gigi. If y'all heard her growling through that, we
Growling like
bless you.
I'm here.
So I'm excited about this. I'm excited about this here blessing of a book, Anatomy of the Spirit. This little girl is just off the chain. I don't know why she growling at the sun.
We got a full
Um,
moon out there too. So
yeah, yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. Hi, baby girl. So I'm excited about all of this stuff. It what this does for me is it brings up a lot of as I go through it, it brings up a lot of stuff for me, as it relates not only to my physical system, and I could talk about this allergic reaction too, and how this may be skin eruptions or whatever, may be a sign of something that I need to work with in my spirit. But I think it is just really probably the detergent,
mhm.
you know. And so, but it makes you more conscious about everything, and how stuff reacts in your system. And I think it's important when we can come to life conscious and in a way looking for whatever messages might occur. Sometimes, and I want to go back for a minute to intuition, because because I don't know if you guys that are watching have had, oh, you know what? I think I can do a poll. But I don't know if you guys have been more aware of your intuitive hits or not. But good morning to you. And if you have become more aware of your intuition, please let me know. Sometimes these intuitive hits, I always want to kind of narrow down on them, because a lot of times we can have them and not know that we're having them, or not be responsive, or think, oh, this is inconvenient right now, and so I don't want to pay attention to it at the moment. But Stephanie, have you had any more insights around your intuition? I like the
Um,
way your glasses are matching with your blouse too.
these are gray. They
They
look
are great.
green
They
on the
look
screen.
green yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Holy Spirit. No.
Okay.
um, so yeah, so my intuition is on fire anyway. Um and for me it's just been a matter of acknowledging it.
Mm,
Um I was trying to think of so I was because I'm doing this writing, I have the privilege right now to go back over my journey. I'm going back over my journey every day. So um uh yeah, I feel like I'm more aware of the conversations of or more aware of that I'm making motions or I'm doing something that um that I personally would not have done. Like I know I'm just aware that it's an intuitive hit, if you will. It's a
mhm,
thing that, something happens and I make a move, or something happens and I go in another direction that I might have gone in one direction and I go into another. So I'm more aware of it. And I am more aware of how often that experience happens. I used to uh I used to keep that compartmentalize my intuition for work with people when I was working in therapy, um, and also parenting. um,
okay.
but
Why
now
do you
just
laugh? Why do you laugh?
because
Is that
I remember just being like, man, whatever. Like there was things inside of me would be like, I used to say that man, whatever is what I used to say to my kids all the time because I have sons and I'm a girly girl, until I'm not.
okay?
And so, it just used to crack them up because I'd be like, man, whatever. Because my intuition would be like, or I would show up at a basketball at the park and one of the three people wouldn't be there.
Ah, okay.
And then I'd have to consult with their collaboration team to get the truth of where the other person was. And so I'm just more aware now of the intuition for my own self, in
Uh,
my on my own journey, even before this book resonated with me because I have been on this awareness journey. Um, yeah, awareness of the intuitive hits. And we get them so much. They just come boom 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 there. It's just
right,
always been there.
right.
It's almost like opening up something that was already inside of you and you didn't even know was
Mhm.
there.
Okay. Okay. So, so I know that I want to show you guys some of these things, some of these I wanted to show you guys, I'm going to show you guys a chakra chart before we move further, because I think that it is important to do. However, I have issues with some of the chakra charts because I don't know that um, they display this in the way that I want them to. I'll say it that way. So I'm going to show you this one and go from there. I need to share my screen though. So for those of you, yeah, I'm going to share my screen. So I don't have a great picture of this, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. This here that you are looking at is basically a chakra chart. And the reason why I have issues with some of them is and I'll tell you why in a minute. So what you see down here is the root chakra, the first chakra right here. And this one resonates to your anal area. The second chakra, sometimes people will say that it is just below your belly button, but I think it is because we try to keep this PG-13, but in actuality, it would be your sexual organs. And then the third chakra is just about at your navel area. Then this is the heart chakra right here, the green, the throat chakra, the third eye, and then the crown. So I'm going to take it, let me go back here. Let's see if I can, how I can do this, because there's a thing in the way. I'm going to decrease this and let's see if I move this over. And I'm going to tell you why I discovered this. So a lot of times you'll see these and they will be depicted in ways that are, let's see, let's get to a good picture here of how we normally see this. Let me close this out. And normally we'll see it depicted like something like this one,
right,
or you know, or this one even. But these, I think, don't necessarily separate out where from the root chakra, from the first chakra to the second chakra. And the way that I found out that the first and second chakra were, one was the anal and the other one was the sex organs, was because I took a little hour and a half long thing on Kundalini meditation. And the Kundalini meditation, you start out with a rocking in between your first and second chakra, which then activates an energy within your body that flows through your system. And so if you put it and just said, oh, it's that space just below the navel, it doesn't really get you focused in on exactly where the energy flow is coming through, and that there is a communication, a built into your sex organs that is part of the system. So when you have it in your mind that, you know, because and sometimes what we need to do is heal our images around our body, around our you know, our images of ourselves. Sometimes we've got to heal that in order for us to really recognize that there is a power inherent in it. And not just kind of slough it off as if that part of me is dead, right? Because it is really not. It is something that we all need to recognize is alive and well and has some power to create a different experience in your life. And the more that you reject, or I have read some authors that say the more that you bastardize certain parts of your body, meaning that you like, you don't you don't accept them or you don't know where they're from, the more that you do that, the more that you set up an interesting dynamic with your system, with your body. And so everything needs to be a part of this oneness. That's just like when you reject a part of the brotherhood, a part of the sonship, it's that same way, but now you're doing it in your physical body and no real good can come of that. So it becomes this accepting all the pieces of me, right? Loving all the pieces of who you are, no matter what your judgment is. Because, and then there's another thing is that you can't heal something that you won't own. It's not even yours to do. So part of this is just learning how to love all of you, learning how to accept all of you, even those pieces of you that you're not quite happy with, figuring out how to love that too. Yeah. So I think that is really interesting, some of the ways that these chakra charts break it down. So I really wanted you to see that so you'll know what we're talking about as we move forward. So yesterday we left off on this page 67, and we were getting into the basically talking about the chakra systems that I just showed you. And then she kind of juxtaposed all of these things together. So she brought together the Christian system, and we'll talk about the 7 components of the Christian system. She brought together that with the 7 chakras. And then she also brought in the Kabbalah, which is the Jewish tree of life. And all of these merged together, and they all had meanings that kind of overlapped one another. And sure, she could have brought in some other teachings, because this stuff is universal. A lot of times we think that, yeah, that it's one or the other or something else, but all of these things work together. And so through this, we develop a healthy respect for ourselves and our bodies. And one of the things that I'll say that Christianity has done is Christianity a lot of times makes dirty certain parts of you, makes dirty certain things that are natural to you. And so part of the endeavor here is to reclaim those things that we may judge or have judged against, reclaiming our own sexuality. And that's a big thing for a lot of people. And if you've got judgments about your sexuality, it will have an impact on how you show up in the world.
Right. Yeah. That the whole recognition or recognizing the thoughts, because Carolyn, the whole premise is that what we think about, we deliver to our body parts. And so re-engineering our thoughts about a lot of things. And it's not just like the first 2 chakras. And when you were talking, I think about just our society as a whole right now. The heart chakra is like totally shut when it comes to a love for itself, for its people, this planet. The love is so conditional and fabricated. It's so that's the only words that are coming to me. It's made up. It's kind of like, this is how we do love. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not polite. Like, it's just so what's the word I want to contrived? Is that the word I want? Our love, the energy of love on our planet. I'll just talk about the United States. That part of that energy is just so polite and politically correct that I just wonder what it would be like. Sometimes in my meditation, I imagine or fantasize about a life where there is just nothing but this love and acceptance amongst everyone and all people, right, at all times, at one time. Just that experience, that expansion, the light, the beauty of a heart that's open,
Mm-hmm.
I just get like excited about it. But even our voices, the fifth chakra, where our voices have been shut, we're not free to speak, and it comes with judgment. It's either judgment is coming out, or our truth is kept in
Mm-hmm.
because of the judgment that has come out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of blockages.
It's interesting because yesterday, I don't normally watch TV. I'll tell y'all that. I don't normally watch TV. But this weekend, since I stayed in the house and was really trying to recuperate and take it easy, I did sit in my little room in there and did a lot of just sleeping. And in between sleeping, I'd wake up and maybe watch something. And it was really interesting because yesterday I turned on the Oscars because I really never watch regular broadcast TV because, I got Netflix or I have,
Mm-hmm.
other stuff that I can watch, even YouTube that I can watch, and I don't have to watch TV. So yesterday I turned on the TV to watch the Oscars. Anyway, I watched the Oscars. And while I was watching the Oscars, of course, there were commercials that came on. And these commercials somehow made you, even me, who is, I consider myself to be extremely conscious and everything. As I'm looking at them, they are trying to tell me that I'm not enough if I don't have a Lincoln, or if I'm
Yeah.
not, or if my experience is different from all that BS that they put on the television. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think a lot of this programming is made or done to get people to go out and buy something as if somehow you are not enough. And this feeling of not enoughness, of something is missing, or that I'll have the perfect family or the perfect house if I just get this or get that. Sometimes those things work against us. And it works against this idea of connection when we are constantly pulled in ways that don't speak to the humanity of all people. So, and this is not just so we've got some good story to tell in between, in between our moments of despair that we go through. This is so that we know that as we were created to be just like we are. And so no matter what you were thinking or what you were judging, you were in the perfect spot. You are
Right.
the perfect person, right? Right here and right now. And I was just saying to Rhonda earlier today, I was like, Rhonda, and when we met up at 7:00, did you take your pictures yet? Because now as Rhonda does this thing where she's ticking off the days. We've been working out together at the same time, or
Right.
having that motive for 78 days now. And so there was a thing when we a month in, I was like, oh, we should take before and after pictures.
Oh.
but we still haven't taken pictures. I took some raggedy pictures where I just like, okay, I'm gonna pull my stuff down and just take a picture right here, and not a picture that I would share anywhere.
Right. Right.
But it's just for our own awareness to see how we're changing through 80 days of exercising, knowing that 80 days we got up and exercised, and with the intent of seeing something different in our physiques. So, but without the starting spot, we can't get to the halfway spot, right? It's kind of like those questions when people ask themselves, like, you know, oh, they'll say, oh, what do I need to go back to school for? Or what do I need to do this for? Time is going to go by anyway, right? So you might as well do something that is benefiting you right now,
Right.
instead of looking at it as if, as if there is just, just time ticking off of the clock. So how do we make this time work for us? How do we get the most or the best out of the time that we have? And so every day we can be contributing to our, to something, to doing something, to making a difference, or something that matters every single day. Even if it's just for, and I mean, even if it's just for 20 minutes, right? How is 20 minutes? I mean, 20 minutes you could stand up in front of the TV and march, right? Or walk up and down your driveway. I do it all the time. Just walk up, laps up and down your drive. I mean, any old thing. But life is movement. And as Doc Poe said, sitting is the new smoking. So get your
I agree. When I heard when she said that, I was like, that's really good. And it's so true. I stand up for 5 hours at my other work. I don't sit. I have stand-up desk, and I don't sit for 5 hours, and I'm fine. I love it. I don't know what the benefit is or not the benefit, but um I love it.
Right.
It's worth the exercise to try standing up, because we do sit a lot, and we spend a lot of time sitting. So yeah.
Yeah. And to me, I don't know about you, but I even if you lay in the bed during the course of the day, it makes your body feel different. If you think about life as movement, right, it puts you in a different mindset, because everything that lives moves. You've learned the idea about atoms and how atoms split and die and then reproduce themselves. Even if you can't see it moving, it is
happening.
moving. And so this thing of just recognizing that you can get up and move your body, and it don't have to be anything strenuous, right? You don't have to do it until you're soaking or exhausted or everything, but we do need to do it, because it is beneficial. It's something that works for each and every one of us. So consider that, just something to consider. I'm not trying to say that anything that as you are enough. You are perfect as you are. But move. Just I love that. Anyway, okay, so so I'm going to go back here to this paragraph, or this one that I did yesterday on 67. She says, managing our power of choice is a divine challenge. It's the divine challenge, the sacred contract that we are here to fulfill. Whereas choice once meant our ability to respond to that which God has created for us, it now means that we are participants in what we experience.
Yes.
We are participants in what we experience, that we co-create our physical bodies through the creative strength of our thoughts and emotions.
Let me just say,
okay, say it.
That experience, so what I know about Carolyn Meese is that she comes from a place where her giftings were honored and acknowledged at the age of 8 years old. So there was no pushback. There was no, and I'm not saying she had challenges like any other human, but when I read that and I think about that, and I think about people of color or people who have come through trauma and hurt between the ages of 0 and 8, and being able to help facilitate that attachment deficit, because when there's an attachment deficit, this what you just read is still true. It's still true, and yet the people, specifically the people that I service, have this attachment deficit, they have all of these wounds where this connectedness like makes no, it's, there's almost like a miss. There's this.
Explain to us what you mean by attachment deficit.
So attachment deficit, meaning that if there were things that were missing in your childhood from your caretakers or people of authority, even teachers, either something said, something done, and it could be as simple as I have all sons. And so my narrative about boys is that when they want to eat, they want to eat now. They come out onto this planet like, I need to eat right now. And I don't care that we're in a car. I don't care we're in the store, like feed me now. And they have this cry that is just like, oh, I got to get out of here and feed my child. But that can become a trauma gone unnoticed or unaffirmed, unacknowledged. And so there's a deficit, and there's a deficit in all, I mean, most people have some type of attachment trauma, if you want to call it that. But when there is a lack of assurance that I am okay, you're going to be fine, I got you. So it's protection, it's affirming, it's providing, attentiveness. And so when that is lacking, and this is true, what you just read, it is the truth. But then you have these missing holes that have to be, the narrative of that experience has to be, it is called neuro-linguistic programming. It has to be addressed, repaired, and then going into it. So a lot of our outcomes, or a lot of our current life experiences, are because this right here, what you read, is truth. But then you got all of these deficits that keep us from challenging our thoughts and our emotions. Like,
yeah. And so while we can't go back and do anything about that at this moment, right? There is this thing to recognize, because the tenants I used to have their newborn sitting there crying, talking about, don't pick that baby up, you're gonna have a spoiled
stuff
baby.
like that. Yeah.
Don't, trying to make a baby conform to their schedule of feeding, rather than actually feeding or acknowledging the baby when it cries. And so I would, it would just pain me because babies crying is something that that makes everybody turn around. And it was just so painful to listen to how they would explain why you didn't pick up this baby or handle this baby too much, because you don't want this baby to be spoiled. Now, Oprah just did a thing, and I haven't, I know some people watch her shows religiously, but she just had this thing, and she was like, if you don't get anything else out of the stuff that I tell you, she was like, I want you to hear that in the first 2 months, 3 months of a child's life, 0, that means coming out of the womb up until a couple of months in, that sets the course for the rest of their life. You may think that they're not aware, but that will set the course for the entirety of their life.
Yes.
And so it's important to touch them and to hold them and to talk to them and all of that stuff. So yes, I'm
so energies get shut and locked in places where there's wounding or where there is deficit. And so as I'm reading this, my heart just goes out to the experiences the experience of the people who can know this, read it, and then have this magical experience of life from the beginning, and then there is the community where there is this deficit while this reality is still taking place. So then I'm manifesting the woulda, coulda, shouldas. I'm manifesting the lack thereof. I'm manifesting love gone bad
Mhm.
Nobody can protect me. I got to protect myself. I'm manifesting a life of reactivity coming from a
Mhm.
place where I'm not open. It's all shut down. And it just really fascinated me. And if I'm just going to say this and then I'll let you have it back. But the last paragraph on 67, it says, because divine energy is inherent in our biological system, every thought that crosses our minds, every belief we nurture, every memory to which we cling translates into a positive or negative command to our body and spirit. And so
Yes.
when I think, and I got on my little site, it's true.
Yes.
Ah, it is
Yeah.
truth.
Right.
And
Right.
so when I think about that is truth, and then the truth of where we come from and the
Yeah.
message that we get and the languages of our inheritance and even our languages in the in my I'll speak for myself in my experience with my connection with the divine, especially in Christianity, um where there was this reach for
Mm.
an experience that I could not have until I realized that my thoughts and emotions had to be in alignment with the things that I'm asking for.
And I think that part of this need too that we have is for affirmation.
Mhm.
Like one of the things that when I talk about, I share my experiences here, I try to live my life so that I'm sharing my experiences out loud with people, is because there is a certain thing, like I want people to know you don't have stuff to be ashamed of. Like, and even if somebody has somehow told you that there was something wrong with your feelings or your thinking, I'm here trying to demonstrate to you that you can have some of the, most messed up stuff, and you could put it out there and not be diminished in any way by it. And I try to live my life as an example of that. Now, I will say to you that I share my stuff, but I'm not out here trying to share anybody else's business that may share their stuff with me. Because if something happens and it's between us in confidence, or somebody has shared something in confidence with me, I'm not out here trying to broadcast anybody's business. That's for you to do.
Mhm.
If you're struggling around your stuff, let you have struggle around. I want to share my stuff because I want to say to you that I have been there, done that, and this is what I've learned from it. And
Mhm.
and still I'm good, right? And so I don't think enough people share their true life experience, or we don't really talk about the moments when we were living in fear, or the moments we were doubting, or had some kind of, reaction to something. And because we are, and I think you alluded to this earlier, Stephanie, because we are living these facades, right? We wear masks, we show up in ways that aren't authentic or even deep. Sometimes we are so shallow. I have a really good friend of mine. I'll qualify that. I have a friend of mine that I've been friends with forever, and we have a ebb and flow to our relationship. Sometimes our relationship is really very deep and very good. And at other times, they may get caught up in judgments or competition, or I don't know what. But then, so at those times, they show up really shallow, right? They want to make it seem like, okay, I'm gonna keep secrets, I'm not gonna talk, I'm not gonna, and those are the moments that I know that they going through some kind of stuff. And so then that becomes one of those moments where it's really shallow, and they're in the, and I let people, because if you're paying attention, you let people be where they are, right?
Mhm.
That's the way I feel about it. when you talk to me, I'm going to meet you where you meet me. I try my best to be consistent in what I share, but I do have common sense enough to know that if you're not sharing your sacred truth with me, why would I share mine with you? Right? I know where I can go and do that. I got folks I can call up and say, whoo, this is where I'm struggling, or this is what I'm going through. Because I know that when you're not coming full to me, that means you're probably caught in judgment about you or about me, but you're probably caught up in something. And so I need to pull back, right? So, but everybody has those moments. And I want you to know that those moments are okay. They're all a part of what we go through. And I think it's important that, you know, one of the things that I do is, especially in my friendships, I'm gonna stand in that space. If I'm your friend, I'm going to stand in that space. And you may go off and be a total asshole at times, right? I can tell you some hurtful stuff that friends have said or done to me. And I just think, okay, they're going through something now, right? And I let it be, because what I know is if I react to it, then what I'm doing is I'm empowering it. The Course in Miracles says that first off, it tells me that I cannot be attacked, right? And then you retaliate to an attack because you believe attack has the power to hurt you. So when you retaliate, or when you act as if you have been attacked, it's because you believe you have been, which means that you first attacked yourself. So all reaction as if I am hurt is me first attacking myself because I thought that I was vulnerable. But when I recognize that I'm invulnerable, I have no need to attack back. That's like that, you know, that play called Your Arms Are Too Short to Box with God.
Never seen it, but heard of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not talking about the play in particular, but that idea. God has no reason to strike back at you, right? Because you have no power to diminish it or change it. And so therefore, why respond as if you have some power to diminish or change it? It just, you know, okay, that's where you at today. And so that's the way I try to be. And I try to you don't have the power to hurt me. I am just like you are, invulnerable. I am a spiritual being.
Yeah.
I will be. I'm staking my claim in that I will be. Whether I'm in this body or not, I will be. You don't have the power to hurt me. So I cannot act as if I'm not going to stand in that energy and say, oh, you can hurt me. So now some days I might get my feelings hurt, but the truth about me is you don't have that darn power. I choose. And sometimes it's like, you know, we get in this thing like, you know, right? We've been there. We've been there. Ouch. I say it out loud too. Ouch. But I know that not for one iota. I'm a spiritual being, and this is a human experience. On this level, man, come on. So that is one of the great lessons that the Course in Miracles has taught me. It's that shift in my perception, and that's the same thing that they talked about with Jesus. You don't have the power. He said, you can't take my life. And sometimes we have to hear that, you know, because sometimes we get caught up in thinking that somehow that even that this body is my life. This is not that. This is This is my experience right here and right now. I am eternal, just like you are, because you are a spiritual being. That humanness is another thing. So, okay, so I got off on that tangent. I don't even know why, but I just needed to go there. So, so in here, she talks about this 7 sacred truths transcend the cultural boundaries, and at the symbolic level, they constitute a roadmap for our life journey. So I'm always talking about this because at the beginning of A Course in Miracles, it says, this is A Course in Miracles. It is a required course. Mm-hmm. Only the time you take it is voluntary. Free will does not mean that you can establish the curriculum. Let me repeat that. Free will does not mean that you can establish the curriculum. It means only that you can elect what you want to take at a given time. Mm-hmm. Now, this is why this was big for me. It was like the curriculum. You mean I'm working through a curriculum? And when you get the gist that your life, you have a highly individualized curriculum that is just for you. So it's here, and there is going to be certain things that this curriculum by necessity is going to teach you. It's got to teach you these sacraments that we are going through in this book, right? And so if, say, for instance, one of the things that it was teaching me was about my own value and my own worth, I had to go and experience some stuff. And so sometimes what you can do is in the midst of it, in the midst of while you're going through the stuff, you could say, oh, this is part of my curriculum. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's big, right? To get your car repossessed, be stressing out about, oh my God, they took my car. And then you fall out for a couple of days on the floor. You sitting up there trying to figure out, who am I? And then you like, oh, this is a lesson I gotta learn. What's the lesson here? You can begin to ask yourself, you go through a breakup or a divorce, you realize, oh, this is part of the curriculum. What am I supposed to learn here? Right? You lose a job, you get sick, whatever it is. Oh, this is a part of the curriculum. What am I supposed to learn here? And then let me pass this test because I don't want this mess coming back. Right? Oh. So when they say this is a roadmap for life journeys, it's a highly individualized curriculum that you don't even know that you're going through, but it's yours. It's yours. It's yours to grow through. And if you just stop resisting it, what you do is man, it's like because I literally,
I just want to say, I hate when you use that word just, because just is just not, it's not just for a lot of people. I know that, it's not just. Okay. It literally is an awareness that has to be, I guess, accepted. And that becomes like a roadblock for a lot of, I'm dealing with people all the time, and my own personal story. When I think about the journeys that I've overcome, I didn't overcome them from a just. It wasn't a just. So sometimes I think that what made me think of that, the just, is when I'm reading this and I'm thinking, wow, like this is the coolest thing ever. And I'm so humbled that it resonates with me. And I can take this book today and walk in it and be like, oh, this is amazing. Like the intuitions and all the, but I wonder, I guess I'm on the other side of it's not always just deciding to get up, as opposed to all the stuff that comes before the just. You know what I'm saying? Like the part that comes before the.
And I'm sorry, you seem like you got a little upset about that.
No. No, this is not
Okay.
the upset. This not the upset face or the upset. No, it's literally I am a super like, who? Okay.
Okay.
Just is like just for me sounds like, and for my own narrative is I just know that the experience is not always just. It's not always just. It sometimes it's a process of this awareness and acceptance, I think, coming into an alignment with the information that I've been given and deciding, all right, I want to trust this and move forward in the trust part. Um, I don't know, but when I hear just,
I
I
think that's a
guess,
perception because you have said stuff to me before about using the word just. I think it's perception,
okay.
right? Um, because I could say this is this is just a journey. This is not the entirety, but
Mm-hmm.
it's coming from a perspective of, this earth has been here forever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I recognize how many generations upon generations upon generations have existed prior to
Prior to
this
this.
moment. This is
Yes.
probably not my first time at the
Yes.
rodeo and
Yeah.
not yours either.
You're right.
And
Yeah.
so when I'm saying this is just, I mean, I'm just in my, 57th year of literally
Yes.
thousands of years.
Mm-hmm.
This is just a drop in the bucket.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
while
agree.
on today, it may seem like it's major in the scheme of things, it's just a day.
Yeah.
It's, you know, and so when I'm coming at this, sometimes the way that and I know that this may sound flip to some people, because I can remember a time when there have been things that have just floored me, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have been I've been flat on my darn back looking up at the ceiling thinking to myself, damn, that took something out of me.
Mm-hmm.
I had a when I was much younger, I had a girlfriend that was sleeping with my guy. And I got into bed and I didn't think I was ever going to get out of that freaking bed. I didn't want to turn the lights on. I was so broken. I
Mm.
was so freaking broken. Don't turn the lights on, don't open the door. I was literally in a space where I was just, and how could my friends not tell me? How could everybody around me know this? I was like lost. I felt
Mm-hmm.
like I was just drowning. And so and I mean and other things. I mean, I done had a whole bunch of stuff happen to me before, but that was one of those things where I just felt like I was just just shoot me now
Right.
kind of thing. But now today, looking
Right.
back, that was just that, come on. I done been through some stuff. I'm looking at it from a big girl perspective,
That
I,
okay. Okay.
I'm, mm. And so sometimes I am sitting there saying, when I recognize I'm on an obstacle course or I'm in the midst of my curriculum, I'm like, okay, this what you got? Damn it, I'm gonna handle this too.
Mm-hmm.
Because I am a survivor. I am a survivor. I am resilient. And just like everybody else, we can take on that attitude.
Yeah.
We
Yes.
can be the
Yes.
same bolts of our life. We can, we can just look like, this what you got?
Mm-hmm.
Or we can sit there and act like, man, Is this what you got? It's just perspective.
Okay.
Just perspective. Just perspective.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. So, you know, and I'm not trying to take anything away from anybody's stuff, but what we can recognize in any given moment is that we are spiritual beings.
Yes, I think that is powerful. And I think the fact that we are in a curriculum is a powerful notion,
Yeah.
and it puts things in a different perspective. It gives and it gives a circumstance a place, just like these learning the chakras give circumstances and conditions a place. It
Mhm.
or sickness. But my desire is that as we learn about our energy systems, that sickness won't be a thing, because we'll recognize that this is happening. This area of my life needs attention. This area of my energy system needs attention. And almost like turning your thoughts away from the earthly aspect. Did I say that yesterday? About, yeah, not being of in the being in the world, but not of it, turning yourself away from the actual experience, and then going in and saying, okay, what's lining up, or why did this show up for me? What is the
Mhm.
message for me? What is my energy attracting? What part of my selfness, my energy is attracting this circumstance and this disease? But the curriculum piece, I think, is is huge when I remember that this is a curriculum. Yeah, I don't know if that's what they consider the book of life, but
But yeah, and I love, and you know, and all of this is in the introduction of the Course in Miracles, and you know, it says only the time you take it is voluntary. But then in the book, as you're reading through the text, it says that 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 you can choose. How does it go? You can choose whether you are going to learn through pain or through pleasure,
hmm,
but you will learn.
mm-hmm,
And so the lessons come at us, and sometimes they come at us, and when you can get it and it's through pleasure, it's easy, then you don't have to go through the pain. I think I told you guys, I don't know if I said it on here or not, but there was a guy who I went out with. This was a long time ago too, and actually I didn't go out with him but a couple of times. I had met him because I was doing a Course in Miracles online. I was doing a thing, and he reached out, and he was originally from Israel,
hmm,
and but he lived in Seattle, and he was studying with a group in Seattle, A Course in Miracles. So when he got to Cleveland, I think he was here working. He kind of reached out trying to have somebody to contact around Course in Miracles, and so we started talking. Whatever, we went out on a couple of dates, and you know what he said to me, which was really funny. He said to me in his accent, in his, you know, his, he says to me,
come on, be like
I'm,
Jean Houston. Come on, say it in his accent. She's
I don't,
good at that.
yeah, she is. He says to me, he was like, I'm going to marry you. He says, it may be a bloody path all the way to the altar, but I will get you there. You know me. I
Wow.
was like, all right, bring it on, bud. He gonna tell me. I got this visual of him with his, you know, trying to pull me by my shirt off, bloodied and broken and everything, and pulling me up to the altar and be like, okay, here she is. I'm thinking to myself, like, dude, you done met your match. And so whenever I think about that, I think about that man telling me that craziness. Can you imagine? And so, you know, I recognize that sometimes the lessons that we get are going to be just like that. They break us,
Yes,
right?
Yes.
but it's going to teach us at some
Oh
point.
yeah.
It's going to teach. I had Dr. Ducharme in college that I had to take all those darn F's from, trying to prove a point. Only when I finally gave up trying to prove a point did he then relinquish and say, I guess you were right.
Mm.
It's just crazy. But at a certain point, we have got to just, it's our lessons. This is our lessons. And so we can choose to enjoy the journey, or we can just resist the journey, but we will learn. We
Oh yeah.
will learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
So let me I think I just want to finish up this piece so that tomorrow we can move on a little bit, because we've been on page 67 for 2 days now. And so let me just kind of read through this in the few minutes that we're going to stay on, and then we can just move on to at least the next page tomorrow. Again and again, the sacred texts tell us that our life's purpose is to understand and develop the power of our spirit, power that is vital to our mental and physical well-being. Abusing this power depletes our spirit and siphons the life force itself out of our physical bodies. Mm-hmm. So I think that we just have to begin to define ourselves in a different way, so that we can see what it is that is happening to us, where we're losing our energy, where we're losing our power, and recognize that there are no small decisions.
Yeah, or thoughts.
Yes. No small choices, none whatsoever. There was I thought about yesterday, I was thinking to myself, there was a guy who I knew, who at one point I had confided in something that was very personal to me. And because he was asking, he was pressuring me, and I was like, okay. And so I told him, and then he turned around and violated that trust right in front of my face. And right then and there, I thought to myself, okay, he will never, again. That was, and I have had people who thought that they were doing something that seemed minute in their mind. While I may forgive you, there's another guy in the organization I'm in. While I may forgive you for the action, you will never, ever have my trust again. Mm-hmm. You won't even get that close to me again. I'm like, that's far enough, right? That's far enough. Mm-hmm. So even the things that you say that you think are funny, right? Mm-hmm. If it can be a violation of somebody's trust. So there are no small instances of, oh, I'm just going to, because you can totally turn something that could have been a friendship into something that's right there, far enough, right? No small choices. So if you recognize that there are certain things, that when you recognize that sometimes you are abusing or depleting your power, or if you got people around you that causes you to, what's the word I want to use? And sometimes we constantly find ourselves modifying who we are in order to fit into relationships.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, and again, Stephanie already shared this, but I'm gonna share it again. Because divine energy is inherent in our biological system, mm-hmm. Every thought that crosses our mind, every thought every belief that we nurture,
Mm-hmm.
every memory to which we cling, translates into positive or negative commands to our bodies and to our spirits.
Yes.
So that this goes back to, remember how I was saying what you believe about your sex organs?
Mm-hmm.
If you think that they're dirty,
Yep.
you think that there's something inherently wrong, all of that, positive or negative, it translates something into our bodies and our spirits.
And
It
that's
doesn't
where we
just,
have to start tomorrow, because that is one of the things that has been like, where I'm like, yeah, but there's some programming in a society or a culture of people. I'm only speaking from my culture and where I come from. There is messages that are there to protect us. Thank you, ancestors. No disrespect, but at the same time have rendered us, to use the language that we both like to use, impotent. And has created sicknesses and diseases
Mhm.
because of this whatever it is, this information that is in our DNA
Yeah. And
that stops the energy flow
and
from
the
doing
funny
what it
thing,
needs to do.
and the funny thing is people never take this out, these thought systems out and reevaluate them, right? Because while you may at 20 have believed the stuff that you were told, at 60, I want to ask you, how'd that work for you? Right? How's that working for you? That's what I want to ask. And if it hasn't worked for you in the last 20 or 30 years, it's not going to start working now.
Right. I gotta go. I love you to death.
Okay. Yeah. So it's time to go. It's time to go. I thank you guys for being here. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful blessings to you. Thank you, Stephanie, for being here.
Thank you.
Y'all, we offer here. I will see you same time tomorrow. Light of God surrounds you. Love of God enfolds you. The power of God protects you.
Thank you.
The presence of God watches over wherever you are. God is, and all is well. Love y'all. See you tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
Yeah. Bye. All right, y'all. We're out of here. Nadine, Tommy, Erica, Gretchen, all of y'all sending you love and blessings. Happy Monday. All right. See ya.